So let's talk about Patreon, because apparently there's some lawsuit going on. Forewarning, I am not an attorney by any respect, but as far as it goes, it seems like Patreon is suing some of the former patrons of a Mr. Oh, what was his name? The Bear Gentleman. Well, regardless, basically, this was an action that was taken in order to get basically stop the patrons for putting in for arbitration. Because apparently, I'm not sure if this is a more recent California law or something, but since Patreon is located in California, if arbitration is to be done, the company, since they requested arbitration in California, must put up the legal costs. And if each individual case is roughly estimating, I don't know, $10,000, now, arbitration is typically not as expensive, to my knowledge, as an actual full court case, which could be like, I don't know, 50 grand or so. But to go before a judge and to have counsel argue, you're talking about 10 grand each, and you're talking about several hundred people, that adds up a lot. I've heard some estimates going up to about $5 million. And Patreon doesn't have a huge profit margin at all. They're basically kind of just an aggregate, basically payment processor, or for payment processors connecting them to other content creators. Now, because there seems to be been an initial ruling, again, the judge is going to go back and look at it as well. But initially, it's looking like, yeah, he's going to have to let the motion go forward. And if you all of a sudden have all those individuals starting to request arbitration, I mean, that could put a company like Patreon, where its margins really aren't all that large, down. And all of a sudden, you're removing a site that a lot of folks use. There's a lot of money that goes through it. Full disclosure, I did work on the Patreon complaint after Mr. Sargon got deplatformed, because it did look like a lot of BS from my recollection from working on it. Basically, we kept comparing it to the industry. I thought there may have been other routes that we could have taken to get the complaint going. Didn't really seem to be out of the industry average. I didn't use it until more recently. Shout out to my patron, Joe Franco, as well. You can find me at patreon.com/the means of destruction. Yes, I realize this is highly ironic, but it is what it is. So essentially, it looks like the judges ruled initially, and probably going to be a few weeks until we have a follow up, to allow these arbitrations to go through. That could potentially sink Patreon, or somebody would probably buy them up. Now, what happens after that? Because if we do set precedent like this, I do remember similar arbitration clauses, I would assume, in many of these contracts. And a lot of these large tech companies have me located in the state of California. If all of a sudden, basically anybody that happens to get deplatformed or something, if they have the ability to go to arbitration, and if under this California law persists, that could mean a lot of these companies would have to put up front, and again, it could be remunerated, of course, if depending on how it goes, but if they have to put up the money first for potentially thousands upon thousands of cases at like 10 grand a pop, that's a lot of money to put in. And I don't know. Does this apply to YouTube, Google, Twitter? I have no idea. A lot of these companies seem to be based in California. So this is just something to be aware of. Perhaps these are things that maybe a little bit more openness and discussing these issues, so we could actually solve them and strive towards a more perfect union. I think this would be useful, but it's 2020. Apparently anything can happen. So thank you all for watching. I see you guys down there. But peace out, everybody. Be safe, and long live the elbow bump. Boop and boop.